back to Better Kansas City. So you may have had frozen drinks before, but over the past couple summers, one drink has soared in front of all the rest. Frozen drinks, best known as frosé, or rather I should have said frozen rosé, right? So
yeah.
Every lady probably ordering this summer and springtime. So wine expert Rod Crawford is actually here to show us how we can make it in our own home. So Rod, how'd you come up with this idea?
Well, I think, as you said, we're starting to see a lot of frosé show up in some of our favorite restaurants and bars, and we're starting to get the question a lot, how do they make it? And we just thought it would be a fun thing to show people how they could make what I consider the base frosé recipe at home and do it well.
So my first question to a restaurant if I'm ordering wine is, do you have sparkling rosé? But hey, come summertime, do you have frosé? So, you know, we've seen it soar in popularity. Where did it get its start?
So people credit the start of frosé at a restaurant in New York, and believe it or not, just in 2016, a bar called Bar Primi. So it's really a pretty new trend, and as you know, things often start on the coast and work their way here to the Midwest, and so here we are 2-3 years later and everyone's wanting frosé.
Okay, now let's take a closer look at this because it looks like we've got some frozen wine ice cubes, but I know that we can't just, you know, freeze wine and call it good. Why is that?
So, you know, the wine has alcohol in it, and so it will freeze, as we all know. If we've ever thrown that bottle of wine in the freezer to try and chill it and forget about it, it will freeze. But unlike water, it doesn't want to stay frozen a long time. So you got to be kind of quick with it because it kind of just gets kind of a little slushy.
Okay, so how was that drive to Better Kansas City this morning?
So it was a little stressful, right? Because I froze the rosé last night and then I threw it in a cooler and I had to drive here really fast. And I was like, I want to make sure that we have some frozen rosé to use for this segment. So at home, it would be a lot better because you just pull it out of your freezer and put it right in the blender.
Okay, and Rod was just so next level. He literally just popped these out like 2 minutes ago, maybe. You know, and let's also talk about this, right? So we can't just use ice just like you would in a margarita.
So, right, because if you use ice, it'll really dilute the product. And so that's really one of the big takeaways for the home person wanting to make frosé is you want to freeze the rosé in your freezer ahead of time. There's a lot of ways you could do that. You can use ice cube trays. I've seen people put it in a Ziploc bag. There's a lot of things you could do, but you don't want to just put the bottle in there. It will break. It will freeze and break. But the bottom line is you want to freeze the rosé, not just use a rosé and dump ice in your blender.
Okay, so we've got this beautiful austerizer here. My mother
Old
would
school.
be proud. You know, can we mix it up now?
Yeah, let's make it. So the key, again, to the basic frosé is frozen rosé. So we're just going to put a few cubes in here. A bottle, if you make a bottle's worth of rosé, that will make 4 servings. We're just going to make a couple servings today.
Perfect.
But what you want to do is you freeze the rosé, and then this is a strawberry puree that I made last night. So fresh strawberries. So go ahead and dump that in.
Dump it in. Okay,
so strawberry puree, it's strawberries, a little bit of water, and sugar. Because you need to balance that drink out.
And then we're going to add the top on.
It's so simple. We're just going to add that on. Live TV, a blender, very scary, right?
Yes.
So you don't have to blend it up that much because that thing is also already a little slushy, right?
Okay, and it pours so nicely, right? This is so smooth once you went ahead and maybe did the pureeing last night. That kind of seems like it would be key.
Yeah, and you know, you can make that puree and it will, it will last. You pop it in the fridge and it'll last. So
Rod,
what a pretty little drink, huh?
Yes, it's beautiful. Thank you so much.
All right, I think
Meanwhile, we got strawberries falling over here.
There you go.